Disc golf the dumbest game of all time. I hate disc golf.
The best part about disc golf is being able to do literally whatever you want. And there are still people rocking the T-Bird, Firebird, Thunderbird combo like we're in fire red. Most of those discs came out at the same time too. It could be worse. You still could be throwing a rock. I mean, you know what they say about people that bag that disc.
I'm not retarded, but I like rocks.
And clearly Cam bags a rock. How else would the dude shoot 40 over par? You know what, guys? It's that time of the month. No, not that. I'm talking time to roast my old in the bag to see how much of a bloody pussy I am. I meant that in a Ron Weasley accent type of way, not the bleeding vagina kind. But to do that, we gotta go back 3 summers to see what incredibly stupid discs I was bagging. And actually, when I rewatched this in the bag, I realized that I was possibly throwing the most boring discs of all time. I guess we'll be able to test that hypothesis since I asked you guys what are some boring discs. But before we can get into that, let's see what short hair Jefferson had in the bag. At this point, I had been using the Banger GTs for over a year, which was a new record for me. I was totally that disc golfer that switched putters every other month claiming I'd figured out putting. Was the groove on top of placebo for my spin putt? Maybe, but who cares? I was still rocking that bullfrog like my name is Jeremiah. To this day, I will fight for this disc, but damn, you hit one tree and it's fucked. I'm old enough to now admit that when I said I enjoyed the Razor Claw over the zone for backhand shots, it was only because I had the first run Broken Claw version and it was something I could bring up in combo. Definitely should have just used one of the 2 zones in my bag. At least I was smart enough to have a straight and beefy version, like the basic bitch I am. However, the last weirdest discs I had in the bag was both the CAX and CAX Z. I really used to hate the blunt feeling of mid-ranges, so this helped out tremendously. Although, still would go deeper than I would have liked. Something a girl has never told me. If you want that same feel but with a better disc, get a Hex. Don't listen to Dummy over here. But we'll get to you guys soon. For now, we've reached the part of my bag more bland than a mayo sandwich on white bread. 2 FDs, and it should go without saying they were the Innova-made ones. Still breaks my heart that I lost the Simon signed one. Had that in my bag for 5 years. Only took 1 bad hole and 4 drunk cardmates not having the same dedication as I did to lose it. Was I crying on the inside? Yeah. But it's just a piece of plastic. Am I right? This was about the time I started my T-Bird 3 obsession. Complemented the straight FD flights with something I could trust to put power on and have a reliable fade at the end. And like any smart individual, I had 2 Firebirds. That's literally the minimum your bag should ever have. I also had 2 race that would basically go unthrown except in a tailwind or on second shots that would be followed up with confusion on why I don't throw the wraiths more. That thought still goes through my head to this very day. And then, of course, to round out the bag, I had 5 destroyers. A Macbeth I could bomb with consistent fade, a Wysocki that would be my main smash disc, the Flippy AJ for full flights, 1 Ricky Wysocki beefcake, and then, of course, the disc that's been here since my first in the bag. My baby. Be honest, how boring was that in the bag? I'm like every other senior citizen eating dinner at 4 p.m. and tossing T-Birds. Well, now it's time to see what you guys said were the most boring discs to bag. Hey, at least I don't putt with AVRs because that's my pick. Come on, it's 2024. The Wizard might be basic, but I wouldn't call it boring just based on the people that use it. Everyone's favorite drug dealer putts with these things. How is the Banger boring? It's one of the few discs that's actually unique. Oh, I get it. You're just dumb, because that's the only way you'd seriously think the Zanger is worth bagging. I like this interpretation of boring, and you couldn't be more right about DGA discs looking whack as hell. Good enough reason for someone not to bag, but for me, it's just the shit molds. Well damn, if you think that, you must not have seen a lot of sick shots. From someone who bags a buzz and 6 destroyers, I concur. It's 2024, I hope we've all grown up from the leopard, shark, and AVR combo. But how can you hate on this bag? Next Christmas, this is what you should get your grandpa who never asks for anything. The Berg is shitty, that's for sure. And people that throw them, mad annoying. And you'll never see me bagging a Luna. What's your point here, Scott? Overstable mid-ranges as a whole can go fuck themselves. But the Gator is the worst of them all. Well, not really, but who are you, Joel Freeman? The zone is for sure boring, but don't drop this philosophical shit about lowering your score. Half the people watching only keep scoring to like the 7th hole before they give up. DX plastic is only acceptable on putters and rocks. Anything else, and I'm gonna assume you don't know what you're doing. I don't know if I'd say boring, but they are discs I think more of you out there should give a shot, even if it's bad. I tried doing that one time too. I ended up breaking it, but Brody Smith gave me attention, so that's still the greatest day to ever happen to me. The groove is anything but boring. I mean, have you seen the people throwing these things? The damn face is disc golf Jesus, and he got diagnosed with spontaneous. Same goes for the polecat. I haven't seen one person that's used this trash lid that didn't look like they blasted ICP alone in their room. Fuck the felon and fuck dynamic. Which reminds me, I played with the homie Brandon in a local flex tournament, and he has the nerve having 3 of those things in his bag. What's more boring than that? Well, probably bagging Firebirds, but then I would talk a lot less shit. But you can't claim to be punk metal and putt with a link. It's equivalent to the Nickelback of putters. You can catch me cutting my hair and changing my name before admitting I use that shit. Then again, Brandon is out here throwing the justice as if that isn't hurting his game more than the 6th Milwaukee Beast. All the locals know when he finds the sweet spot, he'll put up rounds that make your head spin around, but one tall boy too many, and it starts to make sense that Brandon talks to squirrels. I am now just realizing there are no mid-ranges in his bag. Brandon is a Halo groove away from being the drunk version of Disc Golf Jesus. Or they both mastered the most boring way to throw. Grab the most overstable disc in arm's length and do your best hibachi chef impression. Just chopping away. Hey, if it works, it works. No hate. Well, except for the fact that you're going to tell me the felon is the best disc to do that. Sorry, but I've had too many friends that had to do time for a frisbee to disrespect them like that. And you know, fuck dynamic. Brandon only has the Thunderbird in his bag so he can exclaim Thunder Chicken as loud as he can after he throws it. Honestly, the most valid reason I've ever heard for bagging that disc. It's good to see the Explorer here, although if I was a betting man, it's probably the least thrown disc in the bag, only because it would make too much sense for your arm speed. I'm glad to see the rate though, a slower and more understable driver that players should manage to get some more natural turn out of before the eventual fade. Now is there hundreds of better discs for Brandon? Yeah, but everyone after could be shoved in an Arby's sandwich with the amount of beef it brings. We'll start with one of the 6 discs that shouldn't be here. The Destroyer is a classic, and with the throwing style from Brandon, I'm sure it finds success. On windy days. Of course, to compliment, you have the Boss, because why not? I actually like the Enigma, shocker, I know. Gives more turn with less power, which should provide for better longer flights. Now I'm just going to assume you're brainwashed by the floppy fucks telling you the Ballista is a good disc. I'll be the person that sets you in the right direction. Cancel your subscription. That disc isn't worth bagging for anyone. It's good to hear that you don't throw the stiletto that often. Keep it that way. But when a disc has the same logo as boner pills, I can't hate on it. Although, Brandon, how did you even know this? He also wanted to clarify that he has duplicates for about every disc in his bag, if not more. This might be the most boring way to fill it up, but definitely the smartest way to do it. I always talk about creativity, and this is the most basic way to fill your bag. But it's also one of the easiest ways to get better. Lessen the variables of molds and beat in discs to fly differently. This way you'll have the same hand field and trust for the disc. Or not. I don't really give a fuck what you do. You can bag a Rock, T-Bird, Destroyer, and putt with an Aviator for all I care, but don't come bitching to me when you suck. That was your choice. Hopefully you enjoyed clips from the Flex Tournament hosted by TriFox. Not too sure why everything bad always has to happen at competitions, but they always do. If it wasn't for the 3 birdies to close out, I probably would have deleted my channel, but thankfully was able to sneak in a 972 rating. I just can't wait until I decide to play without any mistakes, but that would probably be way too boring. Shout out to everyone who commented a suggestion. Couldn't have made this video without your guys' dumb decisions. Also, thanks to Brandon for joining my card and hooking some discs. Always a pleasure. Make sure to say hi to the squirrels for me. Oh yeah, and if you want to see what pisses me off the most about disc golf, then check out the video right here.
Just stand here and throw it. It'll be fine. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all and disc golf. I lost real bad.
That's fun. You just gotta have somebody fucking show you how to do it. You gotta keep your arms straight. That's
I did. I kept my shit.
You went like I can already tell what the fuck you were doing. I know you well enough to know how you would throw a frisbee. Yeah.